Did less supervision and technology make Gen X's youth more adventurous than today's generation? You bet. Gen X didn't need maps in their pockets or eyes glued to screens to seek out the next thrill. They had the real deal. Vast, uncharted backyard jungles and concrete jungles alike, with adventures that today's youth hardly dream of. While the current generation taps away at life, Gen X were out there living it. No digital leashes, just pure adrenaline-fueled escapades. So, why does Gen X take the crown as the most adventurous generation of all time? Outdoor exploration was Gen X's domain, pure and simple. While today's kids might navigate virtual worlds, Gen Xers were the true explorers of vast, real-world landscapes. Their playgrounds were the forests, creeks, and abandoned lots, where every outing promised new discoveries and challenges. No apps to forecast the weather or guide their paths, just the sun, the wind, and their instincts. This hands-on interaction with the world around them wasn't just play, it was an education in resilience, resourcefulness, and the kind of fearless curiosity that can't be sparked by staring at a screen. Gen X learned by doing, and their adventures were all the richer for it. Creative play defined Gen X's childhood, crafting epic narratives from the simplest of props. A cardboard box wasn't merely a box, it was a fortress, a spaceship, a race car, limited only by imagination. This generation knew how to create worlds without a single pixel. Their minds were their Minecraft. Today's youth might have virtual reality, but Gen X had actual reality, enriched by imaginative play that developed critical thinking and creativity. Their stories weren't fed to them through a screen. They were self-authored, each day a blank page to fill with their own unscripted adventures. Social skills development took a front seat in the era of Gen X. Without social media to mediate their interactions, they learned to read facial cues, tone of voice, and body language, the nuances of human communication that emojis can't convey. Negotiating for more playtime, resolving disputes on the fly, and forging deep connections through face-to-face conversations were everyday occurrences. This hands-on approach to socializing crafted individuals who were adept at navigating complex social landscapes, making them more versatile and empathetic communicators than those raised in the digital echo chambers of today. Increased independence was not just a byproduct of Gen X's upbringing, it was the hallmark. This generation was given the freedom to roam, to test limits, and to encounter the world on their own terms. They managed their schedules, faced consequences head-on, and learned from the unfiltered outcomes of their choices. This breed of independence fostered self-reliance and a can-do attitude that's rare in today's helicopter-parented generation. When Gen Xers faced a problem, they didn't Google it, they solved it. This autonomy built a sturdy foundation of confidence and adaptability, proving that a little unsupervised adventure goes a long way in shaping capable, resilient adults. Unstructured playtime defined Gen X's childhood, a time rich in imagination and freedom. This wasn't about being shuffled from one organized activity to another. It was about kickball games that stretched across neighborhoods, forts rising in backyards and forests, and bike rides to nowhere in particular. This liberty to explore and play by their own rules fostered a generation adept in independence, creativity, and problem-solving. They learned the art of negotiation, conflict resolution, and time management, without an adult always looking over their shoulder. Today's tightly scheduled, digitally monitored playtime can't quite capture the spirit of adventure and discovery that came so naturally to Gen X kids. Risk-taking and resilience was practically a rite of passage for Gen X. They didn't shy away from climbing the tallest trees or taking the longest bike rides without a safety net. Sure, they got a few scrapes and bruises, but they also learned how to dust themselves off and keep going. This wasn't about being reckless, it was about testing limits and learning firsthand what they were capable of. It's a stark contrast to today's bubble-wrapped generation, where risk is often viewed through the lens of a smartphone camera not lived. Problem-solving for Gen X wasn't about hitting up Google or watching a how-to video. It was about getting hands-on, making mistakes, and figuring it out the hard way. If their bike chain came off, they fixed it themselves. Homework question? They cracked the books, not the laptop. This hands-on approach didn't just solve the immediate problem, it taught them critical thinking and perseverance, skills that seem to be on the back burner in today's world of instant answers and digital shortcuts. Music and media exploration was a journey, not just a destination. Gen X didn't have streaming. They had the thrill of the hunt, flipping through record bins and waiting by the radio with a tape ready to record their favorite song. Discovering a new band felt like unearthing a hidden treasure, and sharing it with friends was a communal rite. Today's on-demand culture lacks this sense of adventure and the personal connection that comes from discovering and sharing something truly special. Manual competence was not just for shop class. Gen X learned to do things with their hands, whether it was tuning a guitar, fixing a leaky faucet, or customizing their skateboard. This wasn't about being handy, it was about being independent and capable. Knowing you could tackle a problem and solve it without calling for help instilled a sense of confidence and self-reliance. Today, with a service or app for every conceivable need, the satisfaction of DIY and the skills that come with it are sadly becoming lost arts. Physical social networking was the only kind of networking for Gen X. Making plans meant knocking on a friend's door or picking up a landline, not sending a text. This direct, personal interaction built stronger, more meaningful relationships. It required effort, sure, but it also made every hangout, every bike ride, every trip to the mall an event. Today's instant, always-on connectivity can't replicate the anticipation and satisfaction that came from these face-to-face engagements. It's a nostalgic reminder of the value in truly being with others, undistracted by the digital world. Making plans and sticking to them was a hallmark of Gen X's social life. Without cell phones or social media, once a plan was made, it was set in stone. You couldn't bail last minute with a text or get distracted by an online update. This commitment made every outing feel important, every concert ticket a golden ticket, and every group movie night an epic gathering. It fostered a sense of reliability and respect among friends that's hard to find today, where plans can be as fleeting as the latest notification on your phone. Learning to navigate the world without GPS or the internet was a true Gen X skill set, turning every outing into an adventure. Need to find a friend's house, a new music store, or the best pizza joint in town? It was all about exploration, asking around, and sometimes just getting lost and enjoying it. This reliance on physical maps, or often just memory and instinct, didn't just teach them how to get from point A to point B. It taught them to enjoy the journey, appreciate their surroundings, and discover hidden gems along the way. Today's instant turn-by-turn directions strip away the sense of adventure and discovery that came with navigating the world pre-digital era. And there you have it, a glimpse into the adventurous, hands-on, and unmistakably unique world of Gen X. This wasn't just a time before smartphones and social media. It was an era that forged individuals with grit, creativity, and a fiercely independent spirit. Gen Xers didn't just passively consume life. They actively lived it, with every day presenting a new opportunity for exploration, learning, and genuine connections. Sure, every generation has its strengths, but there's something about the way Gen X navigated a world on the cusp of the digital revolution that sets them apart. They balanced on the edge of technological innovation without letting it consume their sense of adventure or their ability to solve problems without a Wi-Fi connection. They built relationships that were rooted in real interactions, not just likes and follows. And perhaps most importantly, they proved that you don't need a screen to have the time of your life. If you are from Generation X, subscribe.